počnemo ove godine? Oh, hi there. I was thinking out loud, will I go to the seaside this year or I'm gonna surf on my couch? Waking up with questions this morning, the two questions that often arise in brand marketing are first, what makes a brand strong and how do you build a strong brand? There was a study released in 2017 that turned heads. It showed that over past 40 years, the vast majority of the value of S&P 500 had transformed from tangible to intangible assets, upwards of almost 80%. And intangible assets are intellectual property like trademarks, patents, copyrights, and brands. And if you remember from the first episode, we said that brands are valuable intangible assets that need to be managed carefully. So, as anything that is important, we need to work hard to get the right answers, right? So, to answer the question, what makes a brand strong and how do you build one? I'm introducing you to the concept of customer-based brand equity. The customer-based brand equity approaches brand equity from the perspective of consumers, which means understanding the needs and wants of your customers and then devising the products to satisfy them are at the heart of successful marketing. That means that the power of a brand lies in what resides in the minds of consumers, what we have felt, what we have seen and heard about your brand over the past experiences. I'll give you an example. Last year at Asia School of Business, my team and I did a marketing project for Samsung Malaysia. And as a part of the project scope, we had to understand customers' perspectives about the Samsung brand. So what we did is we conducted a lot of surveys, did a lot of interviews, and spent a whole day in the malls. So basically I did so many interviews in the malls that in the end I had to be stopped by security. But that's not a point. The point is that we wanted to understand what customers think of a Samsung as a brand. So what they were saying is quality, especially of camera. At the time was S10 and the camera was amazing. I didn't check S20 though. Then durability, convenience, especially for business. A lot of people, working professionals and business people were buying Note series of Samsung at the time. And all these brands associations are what resides in the minds of customers and what makes a powerful Samsung brand. Okay, now your turn. What is the first thing that crosses your mind when I say Apple? Brand, of course, not the fruit. What do you think of Apple, Samsung, or any other brand is the differential effect that the brand knowledge has on your response to the marketing of that brand, marketing activities, and that is customer-based brand equity. Okay, I know it sounds a bit complicated, but let's look closely at what I just said. There are three key ingredients to this definition, and those are differential effect, customer knowledge, and customer response to the marketing activities. So first, brand equity arises from differences in the customer responses. If no difference occurs, that means that the product just can be classified as a commodity and there are no such differences, and then the competition will just be based on price. Second is the customer knowledge or brand knowledge. If differences do occur, then it's because customer has some knowledge about your brand. Take for example Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson lotion or baby powder, even if there are other products, other brands that have the same ingredients as Johnson & Johnson baby lotion, but mothers and parents across the world will still buy Johnson & Johnson. Why? Because of what they have felt, what they have seen and heard about it, and over their past experiences about that brand. And finally, third ingredient is the customer response to the marketing activities, which means that we have been related to some advertisements or some sales promotions about that brand. Maybe the best way to illustrate customer-based brand equity is by product sampling. In these blind taste tests, there are usually two groups of individuals. First group of individuals knows what the product is and the other group doesn't know what the product is. and the results are different. There are different opinions about the same product, but that mostly often occurs because of the brand knowledge that customer has about that brand. I think the best example is a Pepsi challenge from 1975. So I think most of you have heard about this challenge because it was very interesting, and the results were really not what we have maybe expected. So what Pepsi did is that they went inside the malls and invited people for these blind tests between Pepsi and Coke. So people didn't have clue what they were trying, and results were remarkable because people were choosing Pepsi over Coke by a significant margin. But without the blind tests, people were buying Coke more, and the attachment for the Coke was stronger. Why? Because Coke built itself as that brand. It gave us the experiences, it gave us some feelings that, got us somehow addicted to Coke. I'm from Bosnia, and here we love cevapi. Yes, this delicious, unhealthy food. So every time I go to Sarajevo, which is the capital of the country, I would always go kod Želje, which is the name of the restaurant. So even though maybe there are restaurants that serve more, tastier, better cevapi, my mind resonates cevapi with Željo. Why? Because of the past experiences and simple word of mouth. Okay, so this was the second episode of Strategic Brand Management, and what we have learned. We have learned to know your customer, what they like and what they eat, so you can convince them to eat cevapi. I'm just joking. But know your customer, what they like, what they're about, and then you want to build the perceptions in their heads, the feeling, the hearing you want by experiences created just for them. So if you liked what you heard today and what you learned today, please hit the subscribe button. Okay, I never thought I would say this, but it feels good. Click the subscribe button, and then you'll be more confident about building your brand. I promise you that. Bye all! Customer-based brand equity is a concept that samo stat. We'll be seeing you and stop. And daj sa staň.